playing with my cat.
On your first day of lockdown?
Playing with my cat, yeah.
I didn't think your cat liked playing.
She loves it, yeah. She plays all the time. She's hilarious.
I wonder where Yvonnya is.
She's coming.
Is it working? I don't know if it's working. Huh.
I got a notification on my phone just now.
I just did too.
Sandra Harmon just put a happy face on the message request.
Here's Bruce.
There's Bruce. We're waiting on Yvonnya, Bruce. Oh, there she is. Hang on a second. Here comes Yvonnya. Hey, what's going on? Oh, what?
I've just received a message from the whales. Receive that with so much love.
I thought you said she was here. I wanted to translate that.
That wasn't her. That was the tape. That's Bruce's sweetheart. He's in love with Yvonnya. Berlin, Germany. Bruce says so sexy when you talk slow, Yvonnya. Well, we'll just have to start without her.
She's coming. She's the one that messaged me and said, "Hope you're coming on." I'm like, "No, I'm not coming on. I'm feeling really flat tonight."
So Monique was telling me that here she is. Okay, we'll just wait. Boom. Yvonnya.
Is this the real Yvonnya?
Hello. Your whale channeling. We're looking for some translation because I don't think we understood it.
I said, I wonder where Yvonnya is. And so, there she is. Hey, what are you doing? And I clicked on the thing, and it looked like you were actually here. It was pretty funny. You have to go back and watch it.
Okay.
So you're in Tasmania. Monique's in South Australia. Morgan's in Queensland. And 3 states are locked down. Is that right? The borders of
3. New South Wales, Adelaide, and Melbourne are currently locked down.
So Victoria, South Australia, and New South Wales. Wow. And does Western Australia or Queensland have any cases?
I don't know.
I think Queensland's got lockdown, so it hasn't locked down yet. But all of the borders. So we've only got 7 states here, and pretty much no one's allowed into any other state at the moment.
That's right. So we're all locked down.
Yeah, we're all locked in.
Yes.
It's the return of the convict, isn't it?
Yeah.
We're stuck on this big island.
Yeah. And some of us are stuck on the little island.
Yes, the map has it. Yeah.
So
that's pretty.
What are we doing here?
I don't know what we're doing here. Liana, if you want to comment on the live, go to my page, Todd Medina page. I don't know. We never talk about this really in depth on Soulogy. you know, it's kind of interesting. What's
Sorry, I've just got the giggles.
Kristen, she's the one that keeps pulling in about Australia and Queensland. She's in Norway.
Kristen's
She said,
coming on in 2 days.
yeah, she's coming this week. She says, then I understand more of why Australia kept me awake the other night. Fell asleep at 6 a.m. Weird. Some people can't comment. How strange. So why are you laughing? Okay, I won't say anything. Y'all talk. No, I was just saying. Oh, go ahead.
Whale interpretation. Is that it, Monique, or something else?
What?
What have you got to do over?
I still missed that. Sorry.
Oh, you said you had the giggles, and we're trying to work out what you were giggling at.
I don't know. I just got the giggles. It's
We
just
got
one of
giggles
those things.
My giggles were because every time that I watch Todd and Morgan, Todd's face is like, that's why I got the giggles.
Oh, man.
Well, you did that too lately, I believe.
What's that? What was the last part?
I said Yvanya's had a bit of that too lately, I believe. Not from you, from someone else.
This is getting good. I'm just going to sit back and watch it. I'm in Belmore at Sydney hotspot. Can't leave my area for at least the next 2 weeks. Feeling blessed. More time for solitude and meditation.
Yeah, there's something in the everything at the moment, in the ethers, in physicality everywhere. I was due to go to WA last week, and I had this feeling I had a window of opportunity just to move really quickly. But I missed that window of opportunity like the day before I was meant to go. So it was a quick decision to go, and then it was a definite no, you can't go. So it was funny because I came into alignment with it really quickly. I really wanted to go. I desperately wanted to see my girlfriend and just have a break away. And then when I found out I couldn't go, I was like, okay, I'm not going. And then everything just fell into alignment. I felt like I went away. I felt like I went on the holiday, and it was just a complete reset where I was, and everything's just turned around from that. It was like there's nowhere to escape to. You can't. You physically can't go anywhere. So it's just a whole new way of looking at where we are, like it or not, you know. And it's been a bitch of a journey the last few weeks, I've got to say, you know. So it's a like it or, you know, or not. It's just, it's there. It's in your face. There's nowhere to go, nothing that you can do but be in it.
You can't even plan anything either. I was Kirsty Lee invited me to an event she's having in early August, and it's just over the border into New South Wales. And, you know, at first I got really excited about the thought of going, and then I went, oh, no thanks. Like if I got trapped there and then I'd have to go into 2 weeks quarantine again for the third time to get back, you know, into Queensland, it would be awful. So, like, you just can't even plan anything for the future. Monique had an experience of that. She got quarantined after going to Sydney, didn't you, Monique?
Yeah. Went to Sydney for like 5 days, and just caught the window of having to quarantine when I got back. But the funny thing was they didn't notify me that I had to quarantine for another 6 days. So I was wandering about for 6 days before they put us into quarantine. So it was a bizarre situation. And then, like with South Australia now, we had, I think, 3 or 4 diagnosed cases when they went into level 5 lockdown, which is can't leave your house basically except to go and get groceries. So, you know, to the rest of the world, that just sounds absolutely absurd. It's like four cases and that's it. You can't leave your house.
And didn't they yesterday, I think you had 2 cases and they put you into stage 4 lockdown, which was, you know, mask wearing, everything. And then yesterday it hit 4 cases and everyone's locked in their homes for a week to start with.
Yeah. Yeah. It's nice and quiet. The bonus. So
it's deafeningly quiet.
Just wait till the family members get to spend a few days with each other. I think it'll get loud.
It's like Graham went out to mow the lawn out the front, the nature strip out the front, and you get to hear all the men in the street mowing their nature strips, all having a chat. And it's sort of like they just let it last as long as possible because day one and they're already feeling socially isolated. They just want that human contact. And I you know, go on. I think about what Melbourne went through though last year, and it was sort of like day one and people are already starting to feel it. And what did they have? Was it 3 months?
No, 7 months they've had all up.
7 months, yeah.
7 months of being locked in your home.
I just can't imagine it. I can't fathom it.
Why are you staying so quiet, Todd? That's not like you.
I'm just listening, taking it all in. Well, because because like in the last day and a half, it's coming into my field, spiritual activism. Because that was a word that I familiarized myself with 10 years ago, I guess, or I was told that word. And so I'm going. So when I looked on Facebook tonight, I went to the news just to check actually check local, and it said there was a high alert in Arkansas where I'm at with new COVID variant cases. And I thought to myself, this is the big white elephant in the room now. Like, so all this stuff's happening. We've all come this far. Like, are we supposed to just wait until more and more is put on us? And we know we're not supposed to go the old way and be but energy wise, can we work on this energy wise? Are we supposed to sit here and wait for it to happen? I don't know. I just feel like it's time. Like, this is crazy. You guys have probably a total of 20 cases? Like in the whole country?
I think it's a bit more than that. I think it's in 100, isn't it? I don't know.
110 or something in New South Wales. Yeah.
Yeah.
Even if it was, I mean, you got 20 million people, and everything I've seen from in the early days, and then even just recently, everything I've seen, it's like less than 1%. And there's just, and then the stuff with the vax. I mean, I saw a thing yesterday, and it was the European countries and which ones had the highest percentage of vaccinations per capita. And then it had another graph, cases, and there was no correlation at all. In fact, Great Britain was second most per capita vaccinations and the highest per capita in Europe. I just think it's playing a big role in our evolution, just like it did last year, but I don't know what that means.
I was thinking yesterday. Oh, sorry, go on.
No, you go, Monique.
I was thinking yesterday morning, is it wrong that I want to bring on chaos? I want the chaos to ensue, and I want to bring it on. I want it to happen. And it just feels really strange. It feels like foreign, and that, you know, I'm the harbinger of chaos and things like that. But I just want to see it happen, because it needs to. We need change, and things can't continue in the way they have been for the last few decades. And like, the controlling authorities aren't going to give in. It's going to come down to chaos. And I don't know what we're waiting for.
I don't know if it's Australia-wide or worldwide. And there's a protest here. I've never been to a protest in my life, but there's a protest here in Sylvania's hometown in Sleepy on Saturday. And, you know, I'm going, oh, will I drive down and do it? What will happen if I get arrested? Like, all this sort of stuff. But, you know, unless we actually, and there's another part, like when I see other people doing it, I feel so proud of them and so excited for them and grateful that they've gone and done it. And I think Gympie's only about 50 minutes from here. Wow, should I really hop in a car and be that level of a rebel? So I'm understanding what you're saying, Monique. It's like something's got to happen to make a difference. And unless, I guess I'm going to have to hop in my car and drive down there and walk along with everyone else, because, you know, if you're not doing it, you're not being part of the chaos.
Hmm.
This is Morgan Lee and Gympie on the front line of the apocalypse, broadcasting for Soulogy. Yeah, if you go down there, film it.
Oh, God.
You really?
I don't know.
But I mean, you guys have done energy work for community and for sister groups and for your own lives and for many, many, many years, like a lot of groups around the world. I mean, is that an option? I mean, is that conceivable?
I think we're working out all the fine details now. For me, I really feel that this is a lot to do with the feminine, and the human collective is directly, she's like, the feminine is the weather of the human collective consciousness. And in that itself, coming up, I just feel like the lioness is really roaring, and that out there is her in her oppression, in all of that, right in our faces. And for me, it's given me a big kick up the bum to really go deeper and deeper into every single place where I'm still oppressing myself. And she is holding that victim consciousness program, but she's also holding the key for humanity in that program. So it's a tremendous thing that she's here to burst open, you know. And it's, I think, I don't know what it's like for the guys, but being in this female body, for me, with carrying all this knowing of what is being expressed, what's being mirrored, is carrying that flag, really. Anyway, it is, the more that we come into our own as women and really come and be able to speak and be able to freely be, because we're still not there, but we're getting there more and more. And I feel like it's women coming together. So I was very excited when you said there's going to be a group of women. It just feels really good to come together, because we're really good at just carrying this energy, carrying the flag, if you like, and supporting each other, which is what we need to do more of in the collective, supporting each other rather than sort of getting into debates about whether we should get this or not get that medicalization, or whether we should attend that protest. Let's work out the details together if it feels good in that moment for us to do that, if our energy is all aligned in that space. So I really feel that the feminine is carrying this. It's up to her to really step into her own. And that starts with saying no, doesn't it? It starts with really being able to stand up on your own 2 feet and say enough is enough.
So there's one in Tasmania too. I haven't actually paid attention to whereabouts it is in Tasmania. Is that something that you would consider doing, Yvonne?
Well, like I said, if it felt good at that time and it felt aligned, I would do it. For sure, if it felt like that was the right thing for me to do at that time. But I couldn't really, just like you said, you can't really plan anything because you don't know how it's going to be on that day. But I think it's different for every individual, because I think every part of our feminine for each person is going to experience that oppression in a completely different way, in a different aspect. So for some, it will be jumping on that stage and waving the flag and saying no, and waving the banner. And for others, it's going to be very quiet. It might look completely different. It might be just that she's stepping into her own creativity and really feeling confident in bringing that out into the world, and her own creations, her own creativity. Through that, she is able to influence a greater or a different perspective of humanity. Do you know what I mean? Like it's so different. We've all got different gifts, and it's time now to bring them up to the forefront so that we can support each other with them and inspire each other with them. Because we might not all want to be on the flag waving it. Maybe it's not, but I don't know. That's enough from me. Back to you, Tom.
I did say boom earlier, but my mic was off. I hadn't thought about that, what you said. But if, for all intents and purposes, of the whole world was, to one degree or another, quarantine, what part of that would bear the most pressure on what part of the human? And I think what you said is true. It's that everyone has to feel it. Some have already, obviously women would be much more familiar with it, but everyone has to feel it.
Yeah.
It's kind of like somebody can tell you something or you can experience it. So, I mean, I look at this and go, okay, enough is enough. I mean, I know, don't look at it and give it attention. I understand all that. And we're in communities where we work with energy and transform it, including ourselves. But when you have the level of restrictions that you're having for 3 cases, or or whatever it is, 25 or 150, what is, and we're taking that information from who? And what about when it's reported that there's 10 or 100 times more cases? If this is the level of restrictions that's occurring at this level, this is nothing. So I think what you said is right, because whether you're a man or a woman and and say everybody was in the same situation y'all are in, curfews and all that, everybody would feel the same thing.
I mean, do we start locking up the planet because people are dying on the roads? Do we start locking up the planet because, it's just absolutely ridiculous. The only thing that's being sold here is fear of death. And there's no guarantee that anybody on any given day is going to make it through the day. It's just a part of how it is. And now all of a sudden it's become a big thing. And people are so fearful of dying. And the low cases, yes, more people do die on the roads. More people do die of probably shark attacks at the moment compared to our cases, but we're not locking everyone up.
then the question, what about the next virus that comes along? And the one after that?
Mm-hmm. I'm with you. Just rip the Band-Aid off. Let's do it. Chaos.
Yep. I've always been a peacekeeper. I've always taken the quiet path. And I want to yell. I want to tear the walls down. I've been locked up for one day. But it's not one day. I've been watching it go throughout the globe for the last 18 months. And so it's not just one day. So, yeah. Well,
I've known you like 5 years, and I'd say up until a few weeks ago, you've been locked up. you're coming out, and there's a whole bunch of them just like you.
Touche.
But you know, the only thing in myself that I know is it can't be. The fear is the whole thing. That's the sustenance. We know the game, and you also can't take on such an opposition that you polarize yourself. And you can't do fluffy love and light and not look at it. But what you can do is see it for the program it is. And you know how, like over the years, like there was that one summer when there was all those hurricanes, and there was like groups of women that were specifically meeting to basically work with that energy, and the hurricanes would be coming on land, and then they would just go out into the ocean. I'm talking about like that type of initiative where there's the same process and the same abilities tapped into that in the work that we do for ourselves and each other, those of you that are practitioners.
It's going to happen regardless.
It
will happen regardless.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
It will happen. It's just how much we're going to put up with before it does happen.
Well, based on the last few weeks, I'd say it's not going to take long, because there's a whole bunch of women popping up now, and that's really the heart of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm finding it really tricky to understand where to place myself in, like when Monique's talking about wanting to enter the chaos or be part of the chaos, or do something to expand the chaos. Part of me is busting for that to happen, or to sit over on this spectrum and just not to bury my head in the sand, but to go, okay, this is a 3D for I don't like those terms, but like the 3D thing that's happening that's not even real. Don't give it any energy. It's really hard to work out. And I like what Yvonne said. I mean, I've made no decisions to go to that protest on Saturday, and I've got no clue whether I'd go or not. And I imagine that I'd make that decision on Saturday morning. But, yeah, it's really hard to know where to place yourself. Like, do you just focus on your own joy and do your own things every day and not give it any energy at all? Or give it more energy and hope that it does blow up and turn into so much chaos that finally everyone will do something about it.
Yeah. It'll be a match for how you feel. If it's not a match, then it's not, it's not for you to do. And everyone will be different. And I think
so. Have you had any lockdown at all, Yvonne? Have you been locked up at all?
No, we haven't been locked up, but it's, Tassie's a small little spot, and so you just can't go anywhere. I think a lot of the culture here is that it's just a hop, step, and jump to Melbourne for the weekend or overnight or anywhere, and that was the outlet, because there's not a lot happens that well, it does now. Actually, it's pretty cool. It's getting better because we haven't been locked down. I went to a festival a couple of weekends ago. It was amazing, and so we're still getting these things. But once again, I have to travel 4 hours to do that. It's a long way. Or I can travel a couple of hours, jump on a plane, and get to Queensland. But you can't. So you're just locked in, locked down. Not, I mean, not that you can't go outside your house, but it's still, what it's done for everyone that I've noticed that's getting really angry in the last couple of weeks is the fact that the idea has been stripped from them, allowing them to entertain the idea of being able to do something, go somewhere. You know, that just in itself is really pissing people off. And because maybe they wouldn't have gone anywhere, but because they don't have a choice, it's not, you know, it's just not kosher.
It's not what?
I don't know why.
What was that word?
Kosher.
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 I don't know why I said that. Let's move on.
I see the absolute beauty in the fact that you can walk down the street without a mask and it's an act of rebellion. You know, there's a little bit of perfection in that.
Without a mask, did you say, Monique?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, there is, because if you don't wear one now, you're the odd one, and you get discriminated. Even if you've got an exemption, you're automatically assumed as a radicalist.
Yeah.
So we're still trying to find a middle ground, and there is one, and it's not on either side. That's for sure. We're fine tuning the middle ground. It'll come, and it'll just be like, yes, here it is. Okay, it'll bring us together, and we'll find it. So we won't have the two extremes.
I was having a conversation with my mother this morning, who's decided to have the vaccine, and I said, "Yeah, that's great. That's wonderful. You've made the right decision for yourself. You made that decision, and I support you in your decision." And yeah, it was great. It was great, and this is the way it should be. Supporting each other for their decisions. We don't all have to be the same. We don't have to make the same decisions. We can still choose for ourselves whether we go down this path. And yeah, I'm not out to change anyone's mind, but I at the same time, I think it's completely absurd locking people down because there's a virus. This war can't be won.
Not like this.
No.
Definitely not like this. And you've got the fear of, on the other side now, you've got fear of catching something off the people that have had a jab. You've also got people who are in a mindset of there's something on the swabs that go up the nose, and they're like, oh my God, it's some sort of nanotechnology, right? So fear is running both sides. And as we know, that's a cool frequency to be in for the immune system, regardless. So we still haven't found that middle ground. And it's not a do nothing. It's not a sit there and meditate and just be, that kind of attitude that's, I'm just not going to be in this world. I'm just going to sit here and just be in love. That's a beautiful place to be in your body, and it feels good. But if you take that to the streets at the moment, it's not going to do much for anybody. You'll get locked up, in fact, if you do that. So it's craziness. It's just finding that, and we will find it together, I think. But we will have chaos. We definitely will. She is chaos. She's a beautiful chaos, isn't she? And she's just trying to find her balance in the chaos.
Absolutely.
Some great comments. But doesn't it mirror the individual awakenings? Like, it's kind of like the story, all the narratives, like Illuminati, Rothschild, 13 Families, Secret Space, all that stuff. At some point, you just go, okay, I get it, right? And you just enough, and then people, or they had relationship or family issues or job issues, and all these incredible wake up stories, like people that come on Soul Speaks 5D talk about. So there was always this they had enough. I've had enough, and then there's been more and more of that happening, especially recently, especially this year with women. So it's like this thing about, like your mom getting the shot, and you don't, and yet you're both civil and accepting, just like Annie and Susan Bornstein when they were on the other day. Like, that's it. Sovereignty, it's like, okay, here's what you got, and sovereignty, you can choose what you want. But I guess what I'm trying to say is, whatever that program is, like they have been in our own lives, we say no. I think, yes, there has to be like some type of energetic chaos, but everyone has to do it. In other words, it's done at the individual level, just like our own lives. You can't sit on the sidelines. It's like you're being forced to make a decision one way or the other. And that's okay, because at least no one's going to be in the middle.
So I know, Todd, that you said it was a lockdown special, but I don't know. I'm going to have to go. I'm starting to feel very bored talking about it. I can only talk about it for so long.
Well, that's not. I just named it that. I didn't mean it to be the subject.
What did you go through in the last few weeks, Ivania?
Well, are you going to guess up first? You probably already have. Yeah. I think just preparation for this, really being able to come into that place of choosing self, choosing the right thing for me, my body, my space, and everything that comes into that. It's just been a really, I feel it's, once again, as like I've been talking about through this, it's a very feminine, at the core of the feminine, being able to stand up for herself as well, and clear this victim consciousness that plays over. And every day feels like I'm living a year, go through all the stages of the death and the rebirth and the vulnerability, and then it comes around again. So I was saying to you, Morgan, I was like, have I got menopause mania? Am I just like completely going bats with hormones running? But it just feels so different now. Just every day going through so many different stages, where it used to take a lot longer. Every 3 days, or every, it used to be once a month, you'd get energies and something, then it got more quick, and now it's like every couple of hours, every hour is another shift working through that. So it's just, I mean, the quickening on, it's nuts. Really finding the equilibrium in that has been challenging.
Yeah,
and
it has.
Yourself and saying what you mean, what you really want to say, and it sounds completely inappropriate to the person that is listening, the old person that's listening through my ears. Am I really saying this? Because it's exactly what I mean, but it's really brutal, and it's really brutally honest, but it's got to be said. And it's like, whatever happens after this, I don't care. It might cause chaos, but it has to be said, and at least it's honest and it's transparent and it's just right. It's all out, you know.
Yes, it's. I mean, it sounds like it's just been coming out of you. For me, it's taken like days of psyching myself up, days of doing lists of zero pointing, like to find that ability to be able to speak up, to be able to say something. Where most of my life I haven't really said much at all. I've just sort of sat back and waited for it to pass and be forgotten or something, I guess. But yeah, I'm going through the same thing, being forced to speak up, and it's not been very comfortable at all.
No, it's another dropping away, isn't it? Of I think we might have had a similar thing last year, and you and I were talking, and I said to you, I don't know if there's going to be anyone left beside me at the end of this, but if there is anyone, they're keepers. Yeah, but it's great because what I'm noticing is I'm getting the same back now, and it's like if you can set that as your point of communication with who is in front of you, and you're that honest and that open and transparent, it's like, oh, all the rules are taken away, all the social norms have gone, and now we can interact completely differently, and people start to open up and say things they wouldn't usually say either. We're finding our voice, and we're finding our expression in that.
Monique's very quiet. Todd's expecting quiet for Todd.
What are you talking about? I'm listening. And I'm reading all these comments too. Y'all got this? I'm gonna go make some tea.
No, you're not, Todd.
Yeah, I am. I'll just be 5 minutes.
No. You called the show. It's your job to look after us. Hold the space for us.
What was that?
I said, you called the show. It's your job to hold the space for us.
I am. But I'm gonna have to go wee and make some tea. Just take me a second.
What if we all do that to you? We'll all go off and have a cup of tea.
We can take turns if you want to.
We'll go all off together, and you can do the rest.
He wouldn't care though. It wouldn't bother him.
What wouldn't?
We all went off to go and have a wee and a cup of tea.
It happens to me all the time. It says here, who's this? Laura Mitchell Music on YouTube. It's almost like the fear of death is pushing us to step up and be real. Yeah.
I actually, I've been coming up with, I feel like for me, it's more like the fear of love.
Yeah.
It feels more like the fear of love is actually making me push myself further and further. Wow. It doesn't make much sense, but that's what's coming up for me. I mean, last month I went through fear of rejection. Gosh, there were three things: fear of rejection,
abandonment,
not compromising myself, and then shame. And so once that was cleared, then my mind's starting to look. Well, the opposite. Fear of rejection is fear of loss of love. Then surely I'm going to have to look at the other spectrum, which for me would be fear of love. Now I can't even get my head around what that looks like yet, but I feel like that's the energy pushing me at the moment. Yeah.
I think it goes along the lines of like that fear of death. I mean, fear of love is right there in that consciousness that holds the fear of death. They're so closely related, but it's so deeply ingrained within humanity, as a collective, the fear of love, like somebody really loving you and you really loving you And being able to actually accept that is a big thing for so many people. If not most people on the planet have fear of love, because it's scary for a lot of people.
But it's fear of love of self, though. I mean, there's no fear in loving Todd, and obviously Todd's fearless of loving me, but I'm bringing it down to fear of love for yourself. Like, what does that look like, and how do you get there?
What could you do if you didn't have fear of love within yourself? What would be different? You know, it's like, whoa, the floodgates really open now, because you're talking about the potential within you, you know, to expand.
Yeah, what's been coming up for me is not so much the fear of love, but it's the distortions of love. And that's where my fear comes into it, is not of love itself, but the distorted aspects of love. And they've been mirrored all around me. I've been seeing it in relationships. I've seen it in my own relationships. And really it's those distortions that come through, not that pure love.
Yes.
Did you see that one? There was two good ones. What if it is fear of freedom? Are we so accustomed to being led, we fear leading? Energetically, that says a whole lot more than that.
Wow, I really like that. If you consider what's going on at the moment, we're having our freedoms taken away from us.
Yeah, and we're always being led. And look at what you've been talking about, which is basically, you know, like we're talking about expectations, roles, all this stuff that we're like, you know, reprogramming and releasing, or coming out from under the thumb of these programs. So it's kind of like we're going to take your freedom away, and you don't want to do it, yet you're not willing to lead.
That's the big thing.
You know what I mean? It's kind of like if you're in a victim mode, like if I was in victim mode and somebody was doing something to me, yet let's say they provided this or that or whatever the thing was, and I wasn't willing to leave because I wanted that, right? I mean, it's the same thing, right? Like, how can you complain about your freedom being taken away if you're not willing to lead? Well, if you don't lead, who's going to lead? And if someone's leading, then obviously you have less freedom, right? Hey, it's 4 o'clock. It's 4:04 in the morning over here. I'm happy to be here.
I'm usually waking up at that time.
Really? Yeah, you do. You wake up real early.
Yeah.
You wake up before people in America when I do shows in the morning. Like, Monique's on. Yeah.
So, Yvonne, your trip up here, when you're coming here in August.
Hopefully, yeah.
Yeah, I like how you said hopefully. I was going to say you just book that and trust that you'll be coming, or you book it and you have to pay insurance in case the flights are cancelled. Like, how does that work?
I've still got a credit from last week when I had to cancel. I'll just book it if it looks like it's all good and I can get in. And I'll worry about the rest. I'm not too worried about returning if I have to, whatever. It doesn't matter. I'll return when I return, when it's the right time.
Yeah.
So you might have a flatmate. No, you never know. If you're wondering.
I don't even know if I'll have a room by then myself, the way I'm going. Oh, well, that's good. I mean, there's not many people that have that freedom to go, okay, well, I'm going to take the risk and go and see if I can get back home or not.
Well, I may not be able to go. That's the thing. So I won't know until there's certain places that I can't go. I can't go to the Sunshine Coast, and I can't go to some places in Brisbane. So it's just, I wouldn't go right now and book a flight because I can't go where I need to be. So I have to wait.
Land?
What's that?
Where would you land then if you can't land in Brisbane?
Well, that'll be something that I'll have to decide closer to, depending on, you know, where they're zoning these very high risk areas and all that kind of thing. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. You've not been very helpful, Todd.
I thought I would let y'all just go ahead and go with it.
We must be done.
Huh? What?
We must be finished then.
You think?
Yeah, we must be. Well, you're not talking. You're not getting involved. We're running out of things to say, so it must be finished.
But we don't have to wait for anyone to tell us. Maybe we can say we're finished.
Or I can even stay on.
Brilliant idea.
So Pauline Kujatar from Australia. Well, she was saying earlier, like, all of this is a blessing, right? We know that too, right? We know all this stuff is how it's worked. But I like what this lady here said, Annette Chandler. She was talking about how she said this resonates strongly. She spoke her truth to her family and got rejected. But this is the part right here, because it's what you've been talking about. Y'all have been talking about these last few weeks. Brought up lots of rejection, abandonment triggers, and the realization that their idea of love differs greatly from my own. Yeah, that's some heavy stuff.
Yeah, there's been a lot of it, like in different forms or whatever. I'm sort of talking. Kirsty Lee put up a great post yesterday about, you know, what she went through and how it brought up shame and stuff like that. I've been on such an incredible high for the last 3 or 4 days. Late this afternoon, I just went, boo, like total crash, really flat, which is sort of the norm. You know, you sort of go from one extreme down to the other extreme or vice versa. So I'm not very talkative today. Well, you could get rid of us, or at least
no. Just hang on. We're not done yet. Don't rush it. Don't rush it.
There'll be other people on there you can bring on, and I'll watch.
Oh, you're just trying to get out of here.
Yeah. That's right.
That's what you're trying to do. It's 4:09 in the morning over here. I can barely even talk. So, no, but don't go yet. Hang on a second. Like, okay, regardless of everything going on, how do you feel?
Like shit.
No. I'm talking about overall today. How do each one of you feel about everything overall? Like, even considering the things everybody talk about, but I'm talking about where you're at individually. Like, I feel fucking fantastic, and I don't even understand it. But, you know, you still deal with the highs and the lows and all that. But, you know, I'm just curious how y'all feel.
I feel great. I feel more aligned with myself than I probably have ever been. And I feel that I'm making decisions for me, by me, and only have to consider me. And I feel really selfish in doing that, but it's everything I've been working towards is to not worry about what other people think and follow my own path and my own guidance. And yeah, that's about it.
That works for me.
Mm.
And this is somebody who, in the last, 6 months, you've had like major life changes. And you bought a house on wheels, and you're on the verge of going out literally into the outback.
Mm.
And yet you feel great. That's what I'm talking about. There's these craziness going on where the people overall feel you can see the progress in yourself, right?
I've known for years. I say known, but I've been working towards something for years and not being able to fully understand what that is has been excruciating. And now that I do understand what it is, and it is literally stripping myself of possessions, of people, of everything that is not in alignment with myself, has been liberating. And so as we're navigating this time that we're living in, for me, it's stripping everything away, strip it all away. Nothing can be taken from me because I've already stripped it all away myself. And so all that is left is me. So it's fearless. It feels kind of fearless.
Boom.
Full stop. The end.
We need to get this sister on, Laura Mitchell Music. She keeps making great. She says, I said today that my higher self is like, this is awesome. And my human self is like, whoa, what the fuck is going on? That pretty much sums it up. I thought it did. It's pretty funny. I've been telling Morgan, I feel like a kid just always wanting to come out and play. In fact, I'll be talking to her sometimes. I can tell she wants to go because I'm getting on her nerves. But it's like exciting. Like, I don't know. I can't even explain it.
Yeah. We're on the precipice of a big paradigm shift. It's been coming for a long time, but I think in what we're seeing going on in the world is this paradigm preparing to shift.
There seems to be a lot of what Monique's doing at the moment. I mean, I'm just sort of, probably just a few weeks in front of her. There's another lady that left New South Wales as they announced the lockdowns, that I've met in the last few days. She just said, that's it, I'm out of here. She put a suitcase in the car and off she went. She had no idea where she was going, no idea where she's going to land. There seems to be so much of that. And Kristen, who's going to be on in the next couple of days, talks about, something big going on in Queensland. There seems to be a lot of this, a lot of particularly females. I know men are doing it as well, but particularly unusually females that are just going, okay, I'm out of here. I don't know where I'm going. I've got everything that I could possibly need. And this absolute inner knowing trust that's just driving it. And for me, I had to keep like pausing and let my human catch up, and then pause again, let my human catch up. But fearlessly, yes, Monique, fearlessly. Like there's not fear there; it's just happening. And those periods where I have to pause, it's just a catch up moment. Yeah, but quite a lot of it going on at the moment, which is really unusual. My whole family think that and some of my friends, ex-friends now, think that I'm completely insane, but It feels right.
Mm. Mm.
What is Todd doing? I know.
What? I was looking at you. I was looking at you. Oh, like you're imitating me again. That's what you're doing.
But you know,
Okay.
the closer you go, Todd, you're not going to see her any closer. You need to ask Morgan to move closer. If you go closer, she's not going to get closer. Or
That's
he's
her.
hiding her.
That's her. That's
We
that's
both
what
do. I don't do it publicly. He does, but when we're by ourselves, we're both just, you know, I can't think of the word for it, but you know, like just like this, looking at each other. That reminded me of something happened. What, Ivania? What are you laughing at? Todd asked me about hands
What?
and arms after, if you stay up after this.
Ask you about what?
Hands and arms merging, like slow motion.
Hands and arms merging.
Yeah.
When did that happen? Today?
Last night.
Yes.
He
Yes.
put publicly on here, but when we're alone, it's a little bit more even.
Yeah.
But you'd be the same, wouldn't you, Vanya? I mean, I know that you've been perved at a lot in the last few days. I'm sure that you've done a little bit of that as well. I'm sure you said a few days ago, I just want mine to look at me like Todd looks at you. And then you said, oh, and that's happening now. So have you had a good few days?
Well, there's been moments of either or, actually. Yeah, because it's pretty, like I said, it's been an interesting ride. So it's like we reach there and then we align, and then I don't seem to be stopping and equalizing. I just keep going. And then so then I get a different look, and it doesn't look like
sometimes.
Oh wow. What's so funny?
Yeah, Todd's got that face sometimes too.
What? Nah. I'm in.
You know,
Look, here's another one.
That looks a bit silent.
Is that from you or from him?
Probably both, but more so from him. Just the silent, I have nothing to say to that. But
yeah. So this sister. So this sister, Annette Chandler, is 56 years old. 56 years of age. She is leaving, taking a one-way flight to Catalan region of Spain in September. To a place, she's pulled to a place called Sitges. She's never been before, and she asked where she's supposed to be, and then she was told that. So I'm packing up in faith and trust and moving to a place I never visited at 56 years of age, and in full trust and open to anything. It's happening everywhere. It's an epidemic.
Yes.
Now, do you think that force, be it an individual or overall, is gonna continue to put up with this any nonsense? Period. Whether it be global, family, whatever. No. You're doing it. You're doing it, and you're doing it. The three of y'all are doing it.
You can't contain it.
No.
Not at this level.
No. No. It's not.
Not at this level.
How is it for the man, Todd, being on the other end of that?
Of what? Of that?
That was the look.
No, I wasn't. You got to remember, I'm really okay, kind of out on my feet. No, I've been involved in this. I mean, in terms of like being privy to certain things, hanging around Morgan, and her her sisters, and then just the work I do and my own personal shit. But I actually spend, because for me, I think things really kind of cleared this month, like and I don't know. But anyway, I'm either laughing or I'm actually physically hurting for the same reason, because I see what's happening and I see how, quote unquote, the energy of he is responding, and really the world is, the patriarchal is responding. You know what I mean? And it hurts, but it has to be done. And then sometimes I look at the situations that I run across every day because of my own history, and I just laugh. I'm not laughing at them. I'm just laughing because it's funny, And what we were saying today, something about something, and it's like, yeah, and it teaches you not to take everything so seriously, about yourself. Yeah, but it's got to happen.
I like Vanya's name for it. What did you call it? Something menopause. Menopause maniac.
Mania.
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 I have been having hot flashes.
That's out there in the collective. Menopause mania is happening.
I'm having hot flashes. I'm having night sweats. Soak in the bed and sweat. I can't sleep for more than 2 hours, 2.5 hours. Like in the last 24 hours, I've laid down and probably slept 3 times for between an hour and 2 hours and 45 minutes. I can't sleep. It's been going on for 6 weeks.
Mm.
But there are, we made a list the other night. There was 8 or 9 women in motion, just in that area, that are potentially could be in Queensland for some Atlantean, Egyptian, Lemurian reunion or something like that. That's Holy Land over there. I saw the pyramids. I saw 6 of you each standing in front of a pyramid. And
you saw 7.
Yeah, and Morgan was in the middle. But there was 3 in the water, 3 on the land. They each had a pyramid in front of them or behind them. And they were in formation like Pleiades. They were in formation energetically. And Pleiades came in. I can't complete sentences. I'm running out of juice.
That was the vision when you were doing the octahedron.
Yeah, I saw it.
The vision that you saw. Yeah.
Yeah. I saw it. I still see it.
I saw something similar as well. Day before yesterday.
That's Bruce. He's
Todd drew a picture of what he did, and then Melene's son, Ethan, 12-year-old boy, drew this spectacular picture of the vision that he saw. And Todd got all excited because we were saying that one looked like a 4-year-old had drawn it and one looked like it was drawn from an artist, but they were pretty much the same vision. Yeah.
Laura Mitchell Music, SoulogyOneStudios at gmail.com. Come on the show. Yeah, well, I actually had that thing happen before it happened. Not that I knew what it was, because I didn't, but I wrote it down, which I never do. I drew the picture, but I knew that I was trying to draw what I saw, but I can only do 2D, because I just draw stick people. And then that little boy, 12-year-old boy, he did it. But you know what I mean? Like everybody saw the same thing. I described it as a triple octahedron. So there would be 3 times the number of points, right? It looked more like a sphere with the bumps. How about a menopause? It's a bit overlabeled. I don't know what that means. The feminine root chakra is opening. That's what it. That's what it feels like to me. I'm not a woman, but I mean,
and we're down under. We're down under, and we are down here in Tassie. If you want to talk about being down under, you know, Melina has said this too. It's incredible energy down here in Australia and Tasmania, and it has to do with the big body of land that's underneath us. You know, Todd, you know, the one that I'm talking about. That's why I'm here. And it's incredible energy. This is where the dreaming started. This is where.
Okay. Now you're freaking me out. Now you're freaking me out. Yes, but I know what you're talking about. But I hadn't thought of this though. So is the southern hemisphere at this point the lower chakras? Right. What am I saying? I'm delirious. But well, no, because I know with like Morgan and I, I don't really understand it all, but there's something, the positioning, northern hemisphere, southern hemisphere. And then when I heard that first click, which would have been the 10th or 11th or 12th of March, everything reversed, everything flipped. You know, like they talk about the axes are going to flip. And if you think about like the chakras, the feminine had the upper chakras nailed down. The masculine is in the lower chakras. And then she just said it's that's what it feels like. The power that you asked me a minute ago, that I've never seen it in women before. I've seen false bravado and you know, stuff like that, but I've never seen that. It's like they're comfortable in their own skin and fuck it. They're going fuck it, you know. It's like Monique said. I've never done all this for myself, and it feels good. It feels kind of selfish, but she didn't finish that sentence. She was just saying fuck it, if it is.
Yeah, watch this space. You know, down under. There's a reason why.
Kristen said there's an energy line between Tasmania and Queensland.
Well, I'm hungry. I'm going to go.
I can see y'all all have the same look on your face. You all have the same look on your face.
Awesome to see you all. And
thanks for coming. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah.
4:28 in the morning. Van Buren.
Thanks for the invitation.
Yeah. Your hair looks great, by the way.
Me?
Yeah, your hair looks great. Did you see Susan Bornstein's hair? She got it all pink. Her hair's pink. She looks sexy. Hey.
See ya.
Yeah.
See
ya. Take care.
Bye.
All right. See y'all. Bye-bye. How do I turn it off?